Stop thinking like the poor. Stop reacting like the average. Billionaires do not think, move, or feel the same way you do, and that's why they win. Wealth is not luck. It's a discipline, a mental operating system built on logic, patience, and control. In this audiobook, you will unlearn the emotional habits that keep you broke and replace them with the billionaire's mindset: calm, cold, strategic, and unstoppable. If you want power, control, and freedom, it starts here with how you think. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Stop thinking like the poor. Stop thinking like the poor. That's the first rule. Because before you ever build wealth, before you ever see a dollar multiply, you have to destroy the mindset that keeps most people broke. Poor thinking is reactive thinking, emotional, impulsive, short-term. It lives in the moment. It wants results today. It trades discipline for dopamine. The poor think in paychecks. The rich think in systems. The billionaire thinks in decades. You have a choice. Every day, you're either building your future or trading it away for comfort. Every decision, every purchase, every reaction, it's either an investment or a distraction. That's the key. The poor chase money. The rich build machines that make money chase them. Say it again. I don't chase money. I build systems. Say it again until it's carved into your thinking. Because until you believe it, you'll keep running in circles, chasing, hustling, burning out. Chasing is emotional. It's reactive. Building is logical. It's deliberate. When you chase, you depend on luck. When you build, you depend on structure. You don't need their permission to change this. You don't need a degree, a mentor, or a miracle. You need clarity. You need patience. You need control. That's the foundation of the billionaire mind. Let's break this down. Reactive thinking says, I need more money. Strategic thinking says, I need a better system. Reactive thinking says, I'll buy it now. Strategic thinking says, I'll build cash flow first. Reactive thinking says, I'll start when I feel ready. Strategic thinking says, I'll start now and adjust as I go. That's the difference. That's the invisible gap between wealth and struggle. The poor think in days. The wealthy think in decades. The billionaire doesn't even count years. He counts generations. You have to stretch your timeline until your patience is stronger than your emotions. Because impatience is the tax the poor pay to feel progress. The rich don't need to feel progress. They measure it. Look at Warren Buffett. While others were chasing trends, Buffett was building a fortress. He didn't react to every headline. He didn't panic during every crash. He thought long term. He played the compounding game, a game the emotional mind can't handle. He once said, "The stock market transfers money. from the impatient to the patient. Understand what that really means. It's not about investing. It's about emotional control. It's about refusing to act like everyone else. It's about being bored with brilliance. It's about knowing that your discipline is more powerful than your excitement. That's the key. Jeff Bezos did the same. In the early days of Amazon, he didn't chase quarterly profits. He built infrastructure. He poured money into systems, logistics, and customer trust. While the world laughed, he was laying foundations so deep that no one could compete a decade later. That's how billionaires think. They don't ask, "What can I get now?" They ask, "What am I building that will keep paying me later?" The poor mindset wants to be rich tomorrow. The billionaire mindset builds something so strong it can't be destroyed, even if tomorrow never comes. You have to rewire how you see time. You have to train your mind to think in systems, not moments. A poor thinker spends $1. A rich thinker multiplies it. A billionaire reinvests it into the system that made it possible. Say it again. I don't chase money. I build systems. That's your mantra. That's your new code. Because every minute you spend chasing, you're losing control. And control, not cash, is the true currency of wealth. Reactive thinking says, "I'll work harder." Strategic thinking says, "I'll make my work produce harder." You can grind forever and stay broke if you're grinding for the wrong thing. Effort without direction is wasted motion. You need alignment. You need purpose. The billionaire mindset isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it right. It's about putting energy into systems that grow even when you don't. That's how you escape the cycle. That's how you stop thinking like the poor. Let's talk behavior. Here's what you stop doing. Stop checking your bank account every day. It's emotional. Stop reacting to every problem with panic. It's emotional. Stop making financial decisions based on fear or envy. It's emotional. And here's what you start doing. Start tracking systems, not outcomes. Start focusing on your process, not your progress. Start building something that pays you while you sleep. That's the real goal. Because the poor live for Friday. The rich build for freedom. You have a choice. Every day, you either move closer to systems or deeper into struggle. And no one can make that decision but you. When your emotions rule your mind, your money rules you. When your logic rules your mind, you rule your money. That's the shift. That's the mindset that separates the billionaire from the reactive thinker. The truth is simple. You don't get wealthy by trying harder. You get wealthy by thinking clearer. You get wealthy by detaching from emotion. extending your timeline, and building systems that multiply results. That's the pattern. That's the key. So start now. Think in decades. Detach from the noise. Build systems that serve your purpose. Say it one more time. I don't chase money. I build systems. Let it echo. Let it take root. Because when you stop thinking like the poor, everything changes. Your choices, your confidence, your control. And that's where wealth truly begins. Not in your wallet, but in your discipline. You've learned to destroy reactive thinking. You've learned that emotion is the enemy of wealth. Now, it's time to go deeper. You mastered your reactions. Next, you'll master your logic. Because emotion doesn't build empires. Logic does.
Chapter 2. Detach from emotion. Attach to logic. Detach from emotion. Attach to logic. That's the command. That's the difference between decisions that build empires and decisions that destroy them. Emotion is expensive. Logic is profitable. Remember that. Say it again. Emotion is expensive. Logic is profitable. You have a choice. You can live by impulse, or you can live by intention. You can react, or you can reason, but you can't do both. That's the key. Emotion wants comfort now. Logic wants control later. Emotion buys pleasure. Logic buys freedom. The poor live by how they feel. The rich live by what they know. The billionaire lives by what works. When you let emotions rule your choices, you hand your power away. You become reactive, tossed around by moods, opinions, and fear. But when you think logically, you move strategically, quietly, with precision. Logic is your weapon. Emotion is your weakness. You don't need their permission to stop reacting. You just need awareness. Think about how many times you've made emotional choices that cost you. You quit too early because you got frustrated. You spent money to feel better instead of getting better. You argued to prove a point instead of making progress. That's the trap. That's emotional debt. Every emotional reaction costs you clarity, time, and leverage. The poor pay that price every day. The rich don't. Billionaires train their minds to pause. They create space between emotion and action. They respond. They don't react. That pause, that single moment of awareness, is where logic wins. Repeat this. I think first, I act second. Say it again. I think first, I act second. That's how you regain control. That's how you stop being manipulated by emotion, by marketing, by pressure, by fear. Emotion is what keeps you broke. Logic is what builds wealth. Emotion is why people panic sell. Logic is why Warren Buffett buys when everyone else is afraid. Emotion sees the storm. Logic sees the cycle. That's the difference between poverty and prosperity. Look at the world's great builders. They move slow. They move quiet. They don't chase hype. They analyze patterns. Elon Musk doesn't build because he feels like it. He builds because the logic is sound. Buffett doesn't buy because he's excited. He buys because the math adds up. Bezos doesn't expand because of emotion. He expands because the system works. Every great wealth decision is rooted in logic. Every great downfall starts with emotion. Say it again. Emotion destroys empires. Logic builds them. So how do you detach? You practice emotional control daily. When something triggers you, pause. When you feel urgency, pause. When you feel anger, pause. That's the discipline. That's the rewiring. The goal is not to stop feeling. The goal is to stop reacting. Emotion gives information. Logic gives instruction. You can use emotion as a signal, but never as a steering wheel. You have a choice. You can live by feelings, or you can let reason direct your future. Choose reason. Here's how to apply this. Slow down your decisions. Never make financial or business choices in the heat of emotion. Sleep on it. Let logic have time to speak. Separate fact from feeling. When you say, "I feel like I'm failing," ask, what data supports that? Most of the time, there isn't any. Build logical systems. Automate your saving, your investing, your routines. Systems remove emotional decision-making. That's why billionaires rely on structure, not motivation. You'll notice something powerful when you begin living this way. Your world gets quieter. Your pace gets steadier. You stop overreacting. You start observing. That's when you begin to see patterns others miss. Because emotion clouds your vision. Logic clears it. The market rewards clarity. Life rewards clarity. And clarity only comes from calm. You'll start noticing how much energy you wasted on temporary emotions. Anger, jealousy, fear, they're distractions disguised as passion. Logic gives you peace. Peace gives you focus. Focus gives you results. That's the chain reaction. That's the formula for power. Every time you feel triggered, say this to yourself. I'm not here to feel right. I'm here to do right. Emotion wants to win arguments. Logic wants to win results. Emotion wants approval. Logic wants freedom. The poor crave validation. The rich crave understanding. The billionaire craves efficiency. You have to choose which level you're going to live on. Stop reacting. Start reasoning. That's the mindset shift that changes everything. You don't need to stop feeling, you need to start filtering. You can feel anger without acting in anger. You can feel fear without letting fear control you. You can feel doubt and still move forward. That's mastery. That's strength. That's the calm that makes people trust you, follow you, invest in you. Because logic builds stability, and stability builds wealth. Remember this, emotions are natural. Reactions are optional. You have a choice. Always. Emotion says, I can't do this. Logic says, let's find a way. Emotion says, this is too hard. Logic says, this is how growth feels. Emotion says, I failed. Logic says, I learned. That's the difference. That's the mindset that keeps billionaires moving forward when others quit. When you detach from emotion, you free your mind. You start thinking clearly. You stop chasing noise. You start building structure. And that structure, those habits, systems, and principles, become the backbone of your success. That's how you stop reacting to life and start directing it. Emotion is short-term. Logic is legacy. Emotion fades. Logic compounds. Attach to logic, and you attach to power. You've learned how to separate feelings from function. You've learned to let logic lead your life. Now, it's time to apply that discipline to something deeper, your daily actions, your habits, your focus. Because emotion will tempt you, but discipline will transform you. You've detached from emotion. Now let's talk about the real foundation of wealth and success.
Chapter 3. Discipline is the currency of the rich. Not money, not talent, not connections. Discipline. You can lose money, you can lose opportunities, but if you have discipline, you can rebuild anything. That's the secret billionaires never stop repeating, because it's not about luck, it's about control. It's not about motivation, it's about consistency. It's not about what you feel, it's about what you do. You have a choice. You can live by emotion, or you can live by discipline. You can live for now, or you can build for later. That's the key. Discipline builds what emotion destroys. Emotion is temporary. Discipline is permanent. Motivation fades. Inspiration fades. Discipline remains. Every rich person you admire, every billionaire you quote, won because they did what others wouldn't. They showed up when others quit. They worked when others were distracted. They built habits that paid them forever. Discipline is the difference between wanting and having, between wishing and doing, between dreaming and owning. That's the truth. People love the idea of success. They love to talk about goals, money, and ambition. But the world doesn't pay for ideas, it pays for discipline. You don't get wealthy by thinking big once. You get wealthy by thinking clearly every day. You don't need more talent. You need more consistency. Say it out loud. Discipline is the currency of the rich. Say it again until it becomes automatic. Because that sentence, if you live by it, will change everything about how you move. Let's talk about what discipline actually looks like. Discipline is waking up when you said you would, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is saving when you want to spend. Discipline is doing the work even when nobody's watching. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's quiet repetition. It's calm consistency. The poor think success is built in bursts. The rich know success is built in routines. Elon Musk doesn't rely on motivation. He relies on structure. Jeff Bezos doesn't wake up feeling inspired. He follows the same schedule, the same process, the same system every day. That's discipline. That's why they win. Repetition is wealth. Routine is power. Consistency is freedom. The poor call it boring. The rich call it leverage, because discipline compounds.
Each good decision you repeat becomes a foundation. Every habit you master becomes a system. And every system you sustain becomes wealth. It's not about what you do once, it's about what you repeat daily. That's the secret. That's the code. The way you do small things is the way you do everything. If you're sloppy with your morning, you'll be sloppy with your money. If you cut corners in your habits, you'll cut corners in your results. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about direction. It's about training your mind to obey your values, not your feelings. Say it again. I don't follow feelings, I follow standards. That's the mindset of every high performer, every builder, every billionaire. They don't negotiate with themselves, they decide once and then execute daily. You don't need their permission to start. You don't need inspiration. You just need standards. Here's how you build discipline. Step 1. Remove options. Stop giving yourself the choice to quit. Make your habits non-negotiable. Step 2. Schedule your priorities. Don't wait for free time. Create it. Discipline is about control, not convenience. Step 3. Embrace boredom. If it feels repetitive, that means it's working. Discipline thrives in repetition. Step 4. Track your actions. You can't improve what you don't measure. Wealth is built by the data-driven, not the daydreamers. That's how you reprogram your brain for consistency. You'll start to notice something powerful when you live this way. The world slows down, the noise fades. You start to move with calm certainty. People will call you obsessed, they'll call you cold, but that's because discipline scares the undisciplined. They can't understand it. They mistake your focus for arrogance. They mistake your silence for pride. But you know the truth. You're not chasing approval, you're chasing mastery. You're not addicted to excitement, you're addicted to results. That's the mindset of the rich. Warren Buffett once said, "The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken." He wasn't talking about bad habits, he was talking about the power of consistent behavior. That's what discipline does. It builds invisible momentum. It builds systems that eventually work without you. That's how billionaires scale. That's how freedom is built. The average person waits to feel ready. The rich train themselves to act ready. The billionaire doesn't wait for energy, he builds it through repetition. That's the key. Remember this: discipline pays better than motivation. Discipline pays better than passion. Discipline pays better than luck. Because discipline always pays. When you are consistent, you become predictable. When you are predictable, you become dependable. And when you are dependable, wealth flows to you because people, systems, and opportunities trust discipline. Discipline builds credibility. Credibility builds leverage. Leverage builds wealth. It all starts with discipline. You have a choice. You can keep waiting for motivation, or you can start practicing consistency. You can keep chasing excitement, or you can start building excellence. That's what separates the successful from the stagnant. Discipline doesn't shout. Discipline whispers. It whispers, "Do it again." It whispers, "Stay focused." It whispers, "You said you would." That's the voice you follow. That's the currency that compounds. You've learned that discipline creates control, that routine creates wealth, and that boredom is your greatest ally. Now it's time to apply that discipline long term, to think bigger, slower, and smarter. Because consistency without vision is just motion, and vision without patience is chaos. You've mastered the discipline. Now, you'll master the timeline.
Chapter 4. Play the long game. The poor chase moments. The rich build timelines. That's the truth. You can't win the game of wealth if you're playing it like it ends on Friday. You can't build a legacy with the mindset of a paycheck. Billionaires don't think in days. They don't think in quarters. They think in decades. They understand one principle most people never learn. Time is the ultimate multiplier. When you think long term, you make different choices. You stop chasing quick rewards. You start building lasting systems. You stop needing validation. You start creating value. That's the shift from consumer to creator, from sprinter to builder. That's the long game. Let's be clear. Playing the long game isn't glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not fast. It's slow, patient, strategic, and boring to everyone except those who understand compounding. You have a choice. You can crave the rush of quick wins, or you can build the structure for inevitable ones. That's the key. Look at Warren Buffett. He didn't become a billionaire by trading stocks every day. He became one by holding them for decades. He doesn't chase, he compounds. He's not emotional, he's strategic. That's long-term thinking in motion. Look at Jeff Bezos. He didn't focus on quarterly profits in the early years of Amazon. He focused on infrastructure, on delivery, logistics, and data. He built a foundation before he built a fortune. He played the long game, while everyone else mocked him for losing money. Now they work for him. That's what happens when your timeline is longer than theirs. When you think long term, you stop needing applause. You stop needing to look successful. You become invisible while you build. That's where the real power is, in the silence before success. Because when everyone else is reacting, you're refining. When everyone else is chasing, you're compounding. That's the mindset of the long game. The poor chase dopamine. The rich chase dividends. The poor chase comfort. The rich chase control. Every short-term decision has a long-term cost. Every long-term decision has a compounding reward. You can't see it immediately, but that's the point. The work that pays the most always takes the longest to show results. That's the secret the impatient never learn. Let's talk about how to train your brain for the long game. Step 1. Extend your horizon. Stop thinking in weeks, start thinking in years. Ask yourself, will this still matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, it's a distraction. Step 2. Build systems, not sprints. A sprint gets you tired, a system gets you free. Design processes that remove emotion and create automatic progress. Step 3. Delay gratification. This is the hardest skill to master. The poor spend for pleasure, the rich invest for power. Every dollar you delay today multiplies tomorrow. That's the long game in practice. The long game requires emotional control. You can't play it if you're addicted to reaction. You can't play it if you need instant proof. Patience isn't weakness, it's strategy. Stillness isn't passivity, it's precision. Every empire was built by people who were willing to be misunderstood for years before they were celebrated. Every great wealth story starts with delayed recognition. You have to be okay being invisible while you plant. You have to be okay being underestimated while you build. That's the mindset that separates the rich from the reactive. The long game is lonely because most people can't see what you're building. They'll doubt you. They'll mock your patience. They'll call you slow. But when your vision is long enough, their noise becomes irrelevant. You'll realize their pace is chaos. Their urgency is desperation. Their momentum is panic. But your pace, your discipline, is peace. That's the quiet power of patience. Think of wealth like a tree. Everyone wants the fruit. No one wants to wait for the roots. But the roots are where the growth happens. The unseen work sustains the visible reward. You can't rush that. You can only respect it. So, when you wake up frustrated that your goals aren't here yet, remember you're still in the root phase. That's where character is built. That's where your foundation forms. The longer the roots, the taller the tree. Let's get practical. Start measuring success in consistency, not excitement. Track your process, not your progress. Ask, am I building something that lasts or something that looks good today? Billionaires don't chase applause because they've already accepted the law of compounding. They know that what's small now will be enormous later. They know patience pays exponentially. That's why they're calm. They play chess while everyone else plays checkers. You don't need to be a genius to play the long game. You just need self-control. You just need perspective. You just need the ability to say, not yet. That's the power move most people will never master because they can't handle waiting. But waiting isn't wasted time. Waiting is preparation time. You're not behind. You're building. You're not slow. You're strategic. You're not losing. You're compounding. That's the mindset shift that changes everything. The long game rewards the calm. It rewards the consistent. It rewards those who move with purpose, not panic. Because when the market crashes, the impatient lose everything. But the disciplined, those who think in decades, buy everything. The rich don't react to time, they command it. They bend it with systems, with patience, with logic. That's the game you must play now, because if you can master time, you can master anything. You've learned to think long term. You've learned that time is leverage, not loss. You've learned that patience builds power. Now it's time to connect that patience with your purpose, because long-term thinking without direction is just delay. You've built control. You've built focus. Now you'll build clarity.
Chapter 5. Define your mission like a billionaire. The poor chase goals. The rich pursue missions. That's the difference. A goal is about you. A mission is about something bigger. A goal ends when you reach it. A mission continues even when you're gone. That's how billionaires think. They don't wake up chasing numbers. They wake up chasing purpose. They don't ask, how do I make more money? They ask, how do I create more impact? And because their mission is massive, the money follows naturally. You need to understand this. Clarity is power. If you don't know exactly what you're building, you'll spend your life reacting to what others are building. You get distracted by every trend, every noise, every short-term game. You can't win a game you don't define. That's the key. So stop moving without a mission. Stop running without a direction, because a scattered life never compounds, it only exhausts you. Think about how billionaires operate. Elon Musk isn't building cars, he's redefining transportation. Jeff Bezos didn't build a bookstore, he built the world's infrastructure for online commerce. Warren Buffett doesn't invest for excitement, he invests for endurance. Each of them is driven by a mission that outlives a product. That's why they can endure decades of uncertainty, because they're anchored by purpose.
you have to do the same. So let's define what a mission really is. A mission isn't a wish. It's not a dream. It's a direction. It's a declaration of war on mediocrity. Your mission must answer 3 questions. What do I stand for? Who am I serving? What am I building that will last beyond me? If you can't answer those questions, you're still guessing. And guessers never build empires. You have a choice. You can keep chasing goals, or you can commit to a mission. You can build for today, or you can build forever. Here's the truth. Most people fail not because they're weak, but because they're unclear. You can't be disciplined without direction. You can't endure pain without purpose. You can't say no to distraction unless you've said yes to something greater. That's why a mission is everything. A mission gives you structure. It gives your pain meaning. It turns obstacles into training. It turns rejection into redirection. When you have a mission, you stop looking for motivation. You stop asking, why me, and start saying, try me. That's the billionaire mindset. Say it to yourself. My mission is my map. My mission is my filter. My mission decides my focus. Every decision you make should pass through that filter. Does this move me closer to my mission or further away? If it doesn't align, it's noise. If it doesn't serve the mission, it doesn't deserve your attention. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you protect your time. Because attention is the most expensive currency in the world, and the rich spend it wisely. Let's talk about how to find and build your mission. Step 1. Start with pain. What problem in the world makes you angry? What reality do you refuse to accept? Every great mission starts with frustration, because anger is clarity in disguise. Step 2. Expand your horizon. Don't just aim to fix your own life. Aim to build systems that fix problems for others. That's how wealth scales, through service, not selfishness. Step 3. Translate mission into action. A mission without execution is fantasy. You need milestones, systems, and routines that make your mission real. That's how billionaires build. Idea, system, scale. When you live by mission, you start to move differently. Your conversations change. Your circle tightens. Your schedule hardens. Because now every hour has purpose. Every choice has weight. Every day is a brick in the foundation of something monumental. The mission gives your life direction, and direction creates peace. You stop wondering what's next. You already know. You're building it. That's what clarity feels like. And here's the secret most people miss. The mission doesn't just make you rich, it keeps you rich. Because when the markets crash, when money slows, when distractions rise, your mission keeps you grounded. It reminds you why you started. It reminds you that wealth is the byproduct, not the point. Without a mission, you drift. With a mission, you dominate. That's the difference. People will call you obsessed. They'll call you extreme. They'll tell you to relax. But the truth is, most people aren't tired. They're aimless. They're exhausted from chasing what doesn't matter. They're busy without building. You're different. You're focused. You're building something that matters. That's the quiet confidence of a mission-driven life. You have a choice. You can keep asking for purpose, or you can start declaring it. You can keep drifting, or you can design your direction. Stop waiting for clarity. Create it. Stop waiting for motivation. Define it. Stop waiting for meaning. Build it. You don't need their permission. You need a mission. That's the foundation of everything else you'll learn in this audiobook. Because when your mission is clear, your energy aligns, your discipline deepens, and your wealth compounds. You've defined your purpose. Now it's time to protect it.
Chapter 6. Guard your energy like a fortress. Your energy is your empire, protected like one. You can rebuild money, you can rebuild opportunity, but once your energy is drained, everything stops. That's why billionaires treat their energy like a fortress, guarded, structured, intentional. They don't let just anyone in. They don't say yes to every request. They don't waste mental space on drama, noise, or negativity. Because they understand this: energy is leverage. If your energy collapses, your vision collapses. That's the key. The poor trade their energy for attention. The rich trade their energy for results. Most people leak energy all day long, scrolling, reacting, complaining, comparing. They don't realize they're giving away the one resource they can never replace. But the wealthy move differently. They preserve energy for what matters. They invest energy where it multiplies. They rest with intention, not laziness. They treat every decision like a transaction. Will this drain me or build me? If it drains, it's deleted. If it builds, it's scheduled. That's how you create energetic wealth. Let's be clear. Guarding your energy doesn't mean isolation. It means filtration. You don't need to disappear. You need to decide. You don't need to block everyone. You need to block distractions. Energy management is focus management. Focus management is wealth management. That's the chain. Because what steals your energy also steals your future. Here's what the rich understand. Every hour has an energy cost. Every conversation has a price. Every distraction has interest. You can't afford to pay attention to everything. You can't afford to keep reacting to every voice. Your mind is a limited resource. Your focus is a finite currency. So treat it like gold. Spend it like a strategist, not a spectator. You have a choice. You can keep reacting to the noise, or you can guard your mind like a fortress. That's the key. Let's talk about how billionaires protect their energy. Step 1. Ruthless environment design. They don't rely on willpower. They design surroundings that remove temptation. They know that environment beats motivation every time. Clean workspace, curated schedule, limited inputs. If it doesn't serve the mission, it doesn't exist. Step 2. Strategic solitude. Billionaires spend time alone to think, not to escape, but to strategize. They know reflection is the highest form of productivity. If you're always consuming, you're never creating. Solitude isn't isolation, it's calibration. Step 3. Boundaries as systems. They don't hope people respect their time. They enforce it. Meetings are scheduled. Social time is selective. Access is earned, not given. That's not arrogance. That's protection. Guarding your energy is about saying no a lot. No to drama. No to distraction. No to guilt. No to people who drain instead of build. Every no protects your yes. Every boundary fuels your growth. People who don't guard their energy stay stuck in cycles of exhaustion. They confuse movement with progress. They confuse busyness with productivity. But busyness burns energy. Purpose multiplies it. That's the difference. Think of your energy like capital. Every thought is a withdrawal.
Every focus point is an investment. Every decision is an expense. So ask yourself, are you investing in assets or liabilities? You can invest energy in gossip, or you can invest it in growth. You can invest energy in proving, or you can invest it in building. You can invest energy in appearances, or you can invest it in impact. The rich always invest where the returns are exponential: health, systems, relationships, and clarity. That's how they stay calm under chaos. They don't have more time, they have more focus. And let's talk about your mental diet. You are what you consume. The news you read, the people you talk to, the content you scroll, it all programs your energy. If you're surrounded by scarcity talk, you'll think small. If you're surrounded by drama, you'll feel drained. If you're surrounded by builders, you'll rise. Energy is contagious. Surround yourself with people who charge you, not those who drain you. Protect your mind like it's the foundation of your empire, because it is. That's the billionaire filter. Now, here's the trap. Most people think energy protection means doing less. It doesn't. It means doing right. It's not about being lazy. It's about being laser focused. You're not avoiding work, you're avoiding waste. That's what the rich do differently. They don't burn energy on proving. They use it for producing. They don't argue, they allocate. They don't react, they redirect. Because energy flows where intention goes. The truth is simple. The people who win in life are the people who control their state. When your energy is stable, your thinking is sharp. When your thinking is sharp, your execution is precise. That's how billionaires stay composed when others panic. Their emotions don't dictate their energy. Their systems do. Their environment protects their flow. So if you want billionaire focus, build billionaire boundaries. Guard your time, guard your mind, guard your space. That's not selfish, that's strategic. You have a choice. You can stay available to everyone, or you can stay accountable to your mission. You can stay reactive, or you can stay ready. You can burn energy, or you can build energy. Energy is wealth. Focus is currency. Discipline is freedom. Guard them all like treasures. When your energy is clean, your direction becomes clear. When your direction is clear, your execution becomes effortless. When your execution is consistent, your success becomes inevitable. That's the sequence. That's the system. You've learned to protect your energy. Now it's time to multiply it.
Chapter 7. Leverage momentum, not motivation. Motivation fades. Momentum compounds. That's the law. And the rich understand it better than anyone. The poor wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. They wait for the right time, the right energy, the right mood. But the rich, they act first. They move. They create momentum. And once it starts rolling, it becomes unstoppable. That's the difference between emotional living and engineered living. Motivation is emotion. Momentum is strategy. You have a choice. You can wait to feel ready, or you can move until you are. That's the key. Let's define it clearly. Motivation is temporary fuel. It burns fast, it burns hot, and then it's gone. Momentum is perpetual motion. It grows with every small, consistent action. Motivation asks, how do I feel? Momentum says, what's next? Motivation needs permission. Momentum creates power. That's why billionaires don't rely on hype. They rely on systems. They know that once they start, the feeling follows. The poor chase energy. The rich create it. You don't need to feel inspired to act. You need to act to feel inspired. That's how momentum works. It's backward from what most people believe. You take one step, then another, then another.
At first, it feels slow. Then it feels steady. Then it feels unstoppable. That's the pattern. That's the game. The moment you act, you flip a switch in your mind, from passive to active, from victim to creator. That's when life starts to move in your direction. Let's talk about why momentum matters so much. Momentum destroys resistance. Once you start moving, it's harder to stop than it is to continue. That's why successful people protect momentum above all else. They don't need big wins every day. They just need movement every day. Even a 1% push forward compounds into massive growth over time, because success isn't built in leaps, it's built in layers. Every small action adds weight to your confidence. Every completed task adds proof to your identity. And once you believe in your own motion, you become unstoppable. That's momentum. Motivation is like sugar. It gives you a quick high and a hard crash. Momentum is like muscle. It takes time to build, but sustains power forever. You can't binge build your life. You can't hack consistency. You earn it by stacking days. And that's exactly what billionaires do. Elon Musk doesn't wait to feel creative. He builds daily discipline. Jeff Bezos doesn't get motivated to show up. He shows up because it's the standard. Warren Buffett doesn't wake up excited every day. He wakes up consistent. That's the difference between amateurs and architects. Here's how to build momentum that never fades. Step 1. Lower the starting friction. Don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. Momentum begins with something small and doable. Once you start, the resistance disappears. Step 2. Chain your wins. Stack small victories until they become habits. Habits are the building blocks of momentum. Step 3. Protect your rhythm. Momentum hates interruptions. Guard your schedule like a sacred routine. Your energy thrives on repetition. You don't need intensity, you need consistency. You don't need motivation, you need movement. Remember, every excuse resets your momentum. Every delay drains your power. Every hesitation costs you time. That's why billionaires move fast. They make decisions quickly and correct slowly. They understand that momentum creates clarity, not the other way around. You don't think your way into progress, you act your way into it. You start before you're ready, you move before you're sure. You trust that movement reveals the next move. That's mastery. People always ask, how do I stay motivated? Wrong question. The right question is, how do I stay in motion? Because when you're in motion, you don't need motivation. Momentum becomes its own fuel source. That's how billionaires can work through exhaustion, doubt, and chaos. They don't rely on feelings, they rely on flow. They don't wait to feel powerful, they act powerful. And action creates power. Here's the truth most people can't handle. You're not tired, you're stagnant. You're not burned out, you're uninspired. You don't need rest, you need results. Movement restores energy. Motion heals doubt. Action builds belief. You don't fix low motivation by waiting. You fix it by starting. Every time you act, your brain rewards you with progress chemicals, dopamine, confidence, and momentum. That's how the cycle builds. Action, feedback, confidence, more action. You don't think your way into confidence. You move your way into it. Momentum doesn't care about perfection. Momentum rewards participation. It rewards effort. It rewards courage. The more you move, the easier it becomes. The easier it becomes, the faster you move. That's the compounding effect in action. And once you experience it, you'll never chase motivation again, because you'll know how to create motion on command. You have a choice. You can keep waiting for a spark, or you can become the spark. You can keep chasing motivation, or you can master momentum. Start small. Start now. Start where you are. You don't need inspiration. You need initiation. Take the next step, then another, and another. Soon you won't be chasing momentum. You'll be carried by it. That's when everything changes. You've learned to move without emotion, to act without waiting, to create power through progress. Now it's time to master what happens after momentum begins, to sustain it with structure. Because motion without direction becomes chaos, and billionaires don't chase chaos, they build control. You've built momentum. Now you'll learn to manage it.
Chapter 8. Build systems that run without you. Freedom isn't built by effort. It's built by systems. The poor work harder. The rich build smarter. That's the difference. Billionaires don't chase more work. They build machines that multiply their work. They understand that if your success depends on your constant presence, you don't own a business, you own a job. The goal isn't to do more. The goal is to design systems that do it for you. That's how wealth sustains itself. That's how freedom compounds. You have a choice. You can stay stuck in the grind, or you can graduate to ownership. That's the key. Let's be clear. Systems are not optional. They are the infrastructure of wealth. Without systems, your energy leaks, your focus scatters, your growth plateaus. A system is anything that repeats without requiring your constant attention. It could be a business process, a financial plan, a morning routine, or an automated habit. Billionaires think in systems because they understand leverage. They don't ask, how can I do more? They ask, how can I make this happen automatically? That's the difference between effort and empire. Elon Musk doesn't build cars. He builds factories that build cars. Jeff Bezos doesn't pack boxes. He built systems that move millions of boxes daily. Warren Buffett doesn't watch the market. He built an investment system that compounds quietly. Every great fortune is automated. Every empire runs on systems. You can hustle for a while, but if you want to stay free, you must automate your excellence. Most people work in their life. The rich work on their life. The poor ask, how do I get through today? The rich ask, how can I make today work for me tomorrow? Systems turn daily effort into permanent progress. Without them, you repeat the same work forever. With them, every effort becomes an asset. That's why billionaires never chase results. They chase repeatability. They want processes, not pressure. They want structure, not stress. You don't need more intensity. You need infrastructure. Here's the truth. Systems are the highest form of discipline. A system doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired or inspired. It runs. It's not emotional, it's efficient. It's reliable. That's why billionaires love systems, because they eliminate chaos. They eliminate overthinking. They eliminate the need for motivation. Because a well-built system does what you say it will every time. Let's talk about how to build systems that run without you. Step 1. Identify what repeats. Look for every task you do more than twice a week. Emails, scheduling, finances, content, sales, anything that repeats can be systemized. Step 2. Design the process. Write down exactly how it happens, step by step. Remove emotion, add logic. Turn messy effort into clear instructions. Step 3. Delegate or automate. Technology and people exist to buy your time back.
If someone or something can do it 80% as well as you, hand it off. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Step 4. Review and refine. Systems are living things. Every month, refine them. Tighten what leaks, expand what works. That's how you evolve from worker to architect. Systems do more than save time. They save energy. When your processes are clear, your mind is free. When your mind is free, creativity explodes. You stop reacting and start anticipating. You stop firefighting and start forecasting. That's the quiet confidence of someone who runs life on design, not by default. Because chaos drains, but order compounds. The poor think automation is lazy. The rich know automation is leverage. Leverage means one decision works 100 times. One habit produces 1,000 results. One system compounds for decades. That's why the rich are calm. They've built machines that move without emotion. When you have systems, you're not chasing time, you're commanding it. You're not begging for energy, you're protecting it. You're not fighting for focus, you're enforcing it. Systems make consistency automatic. Think about your health. If you eat the same meal prep every day, you don't waste energy deciding what to eat. That's a system. Think about your finances. If your investments are automated, you don't have to think about saving. That's a system. Think about your business. If your operations are documented, your team doesn't depend on your mood. That's a system. Billionaires don't rise to the level of their goals. They rise to the strength of their systems. That's the truth. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to do everything. You need to design things that do it for you. Your goal is to become redundant, to make yourself unnecessary. That's freedom. When your business runs without you, you can build another one. When your money grows without you, you can focus on purpose. When your systems sustain your habits, you can operate in peace. That's the real meaning of wealth. Control through structure. You have a choice. You can keep working for your systems, or you can make your systems work for you. You can stay in motion, or you can build automation. Effort builds income. Systems build empires. That's the path forward. That's how billionaires scale. That's how you build freedom that lasts longer than motivation, longer than effort, longer than you. You've built the mindset. You've built the discipline. You've built the momentum. Now you've built the systems. The next step is expansion, scaling those systems into true wealth. Because money is not the reward for work, it's the reflection of leverage. You've learned to build systems that run without you. Now it's time to make those systems produce exponential growth.
Chapter 9. Multiply what works. Once you find what works, stop experimenting. Start multiplying. The poor chase novelty. The rich chase scale. That's the difference. Billionaires don't reinvent success. They replicate it. They understand that mastery isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things again and again until they multiply. You don't get rich by doing everything. You get rich by doubling down on what works. That's the key. Let's make it clear. Most people sabotage success by abandoning what already works. They get bored. They get distracted. They want something new. But billionaires? They squeeze every drop of value from what's proven. They repeat, refine, and scale because they know consistency compounds faster than creativity. You have a choice. You can chase trends, or you can multiply truth.
and truth always wins. When something works, don't stop to celebrate. Ask, how can I multiply this? If a business model makes $10,000, how do you make it $100,000? If a strategy gets results once, how do you make it automatic? If a habit transforms your day, how do you turn it into a lifestyle? That's how the rich think. They don't move on, they build on. They know that growth doesn't come from adding more. It comes from multiplying what already produces results. That's the quiet science of wealth. Let's break it down. Step 1. Identify what works. Be ruthless about data. What actually brings results? What actually moves the needle? Don't guess. Don't assume. Know. Step 2. Cut what doesn't. If it doesn't multiply your results, it's a distraction. Billionaires prune their strategies like gardeners, removing anything that drains resources or focus. Step 3. Multiply your proven process. Systemize the success. Add automation, people, or technology to expand it. Let your best work work harder for you. That's how scale is born. Jeff Bezos didn't build Amazon by chasing every idea. He doubled down on what worked: speed, selection, and customer obsession. He multiplied those 3 principles across every product, every service, every region. Warren Buffett didn't diversify wildly. He multiplied great ideas. When he found a strong business, he went all in. Elon Musk didn't build random companies. He multiplied his systems of innovation, manufacturing, and branding across industries. Each billionaire mastered one thing and multiplied it. That's the secret formula. Here's what most people get wrong. They think success means doing more things right. Wrong. Success means doing fewer things repeatedly right. That's focus, that's leverage, that's multiplication. Every time you add something new, you divide your attention. Every time you master something proven, you multiply your results. It's not about doing everything. It's about extracting everything from what you already do well. Multiplication requires patience. It requires discipline. It requires saying no to shiny distractions. The poor say yes to everything. The rich say yes to alignment. They guard their winning formula. They protect it. They feed it, because they know the longer you stay with what works, the more it pays you back. And that's where real wealth is born. Not in chasing new ideas, but in expanding proven ones. Think of momentum as motion. Now think of multiplication as acceleration. Momentum gets you moving. Multiplication scales your movement. Once you find a rhythm, amplify it. Once you find clarity, duplicate it. Once you find a winning system, clone it. That's how billionaires turn one success into 10. They don't change direction, they increase volume. Let's make it practical. If you have one winning product, build more versions of it. If you have one great client, use that case study to attract 10 more. If one habit gives you results, embed it into your entire day. Every small multiplier adds exponential growth. You're not chasing opportunity anymore. You're expanding certainty. That's how you go from good to great, from successful to scalable. You have to stop being addicted to starting over. The poor love the feeling of beginning. The rich love the reward of continuing. Every time you start something new, you reset the clock. Every time you stay consistent, you compound the gains. You don't need a new idea. You need a bigger version of your best one. You don't need a new path. You need to walk your current one faster. You don't need to change direction. You need to strengthen your engine. That's the mindset of scale. Multiplication is freedom, because when you multiply what works, you buy back time. Your systems, your habits, your teams, they start creating results without you. That's when your wealth begins to breathe on its own. That's when your energy expands. That's when your life compounds. Multiplication is the reward for discipline. It's the proof of consistency. It's the fruit of focus. That's how billionaires become unstoppable. You have a choice. You can keep building from scratch, or you can multiply what's already working. You can stay busy, or you can scale. Stop reinventing. Start expanding. Stop guessing. Start repeating. Every system you build deserves expansion. Every result you earn deserves replication. Multiply your habits. Multiply your income. Multiply your impact. That's how you build legacy. You've learned how to build systems that run without you. Now, you've learned to multiply what works. But there's one more step, the ultimate mindset shift. Because wealth without peace is poverty in disguise. You've built power. Now, it's time to master stillness.
Chapter 10. The Billionaire's Clone. True wealth isn't loud. It's not rushed. It's not frantic. It's calm. Because when you've mastered the game, when you control your time, your emotions, and your systems, you stop chasing noise. That's the billionaire's calm. It's not about slowing down. It's about moving through chaos with control. That's power. Most people think success feels like adrenaline. They think it's excitement, constant motion, fireworks. But real success feels like peace. It's clarity. It's quiet. It's precision. The rich don't need to prove anything. They already know who they are. They don't react. They respond. They don't panic. They prepare. That's the difference. The billionaire's calm isn't an emotion. It's a skill. Let's be clear. Calm doesn't mean passive. It means controlled. It means you can walk through fire without flinching. You can handle loss without fear. You can face risk without emotion. You don't overreact. You analyze. You don't complain. You adjust. You don't chase validation. You chase clarity. That's the state of mastery. You've already learned to control your emotions, discipline your habits, and build your systems. Now you master your stillness. Because chaos can't touch you if you don't let it in. Think about Warren Buffett. He's not frantic. He's not loud. He's patient. When the market crashes, he stays still. When others panic, he waits. Because he understands emotional calm creates financial power. When you're calm, you make better decisions. When you're calm, you see the bigger picture. When you're calm, you stop playing the short game. That's what separates billionaires from millionaires. They don't move with the crowd, they move with conviction. Calm is the ultimate leverage. The poor react, the rich observe, the powerful pause. In every crisis, there are two kinds of people: those who panic
and those who profit. The calm ones always win. Because while everyone else is chasing headlines, they're studying patterns. While others are arguing, they're acting with precision. While others are emotional, they're strategic. You don't need to move fast. You need to move intentionally. That's how billionaires make time their ally instead of their enemy. Let's talk about how to cultivate your calm. Step 1. Master your morning. The way you start your day dictates the tone of your mind. Silence, structure, solitude. Those are your morning assets. No phone, no noise, just direction. Step 2. Slow your decisions. Speed creates mistakes. Calm creates clarity. Pause before reacting. Ask, what does this situation require? Not what do I feel about it? Step 3. Protect your mental space. Don't let everyone's noise become your internal soundtrack. Guard your peace like a billionaire guards capital, ruthlessly. That's not arrogance, it's self-respect. You don't owe access to anyone who disrupts your calm. The truth is, peace is a power signal. In business, the calmest person in the room usually wins. Because calmness projects confidence. It disarms aggression. It commands respect. People trust the one who doesn't flinch. That's why the rich don't shout, they whisper. They don't demand attention, they command it. They don't perform for approval, they lead through presence. That's calm. That's influence. That's the billionaire state of mind. Here's the paradox. Calmness doesn't come from having everything. It comes from needing nothing. The more you detach from ego, validation, and urgency, the freer you become. The poor chase recognition. The rich chase results. The wise chase peace. You don't need to announce your moves. You don't need to prove your value. You don't need to argue your worth. Your silence is your statement. Your results are your voice. That's the billionaire's calm. Calmness turns chaos into data. When you're calm, you see clearly. You see patterns in pain. You see opportunity in loss. You see growth in pressure. That's emotional intelligence at its peak. The poor see problems. The rich see probabilities. The calm see patterns. And patterns create power. Here's what you need to remember. Every reaction costs energy. Every outburst burns focus. Every emotional response weakens your leverage. Calm is conservation. It saves your mind. It protects your discipline. It preserves your edge. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to defend your peace. You just need to stay centered, move with intent, and keep your vision above the noise. That's what separates those who lead from those who follow. You have a choice. You can be consumed by chaos, or you can master calm. You can react like everyone else, or you can respond like a billionaire. Stillness is strength. Silence is strategy. Patience is profit. That's the formula of the elite. You've built your mindset. You've built your discipline. You've built your systems. You've multiplied your results. Now you've built calm. This is the final layer of mastery. Because when your mind is still, your power is limitless. When your emotions are silent, your decisions speak louder. And when your peace can't be bought or shaken, you've already won. That's the billionaire's calm. That's the end game. That's wealth beyond numbers. You've built the psychology of wealth. Now it's time to live it.
You've just heard how billionaires think. They don't move fast, they move precisely. They don't react, they calculate. Wealth is not about money. It's about mental control. It's about building a mind so powerful, so disciplined, so calm, that money becomes a reflection of your mindset. The average person will forget these lessons tomorrow. Don't. Re-listen. Reprogram your habits. Speak the language of wealth every day, because the billionaire mind isn't born, it's built, one disciplined thought at a time. Stop chasing. Start constructing. Your wealth begins when your excuses end.